Colin, you're a radical. First and foremost, congratulations to BYU. That's got to be the biggest win in that program's history in decades. I mean, what a win. And what's the difference between BYU? I mean, remember Sataki was on the hot seat 2 years ago. They weren't very good. They really weren't. Really, one word. Jay Hill. That's the difference. Jay Hill. He's doing down there what he did here. You know, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, we sure miss him here. And this turnaround that he turned around is so historic. And the collapse is even more historic, I believe. I mean, you think about it, I see Jalen Rock, our best defensive player, he's entered the portal. Richie Munoz has entered the portal. Richie, he's handpicked by this coach, man. But, by the way, Richie can play. He's good for all you guys that are out there. He's good. His best asset is his long ball. He's so incredibly accurate. I mean, Braden Wilson is signed with Wyoming. He's a local, preseason All-American here. Who I gave the player of the year here, Lavaca, which these sports writers, there's no sports writers. I mean, come on. There's no me. It's pathetic. He's an Oklahoma State Cowboy, so everybody's bolded. Used to be people used kicking down the doors to get here at DBU. Now people are kicking the doors to get out of here. There's no one left. How can this happen? They were a preseason number 7 in the country. What Jay Hill did here was historic. What he's doing at BYU, oh my God, are you kidding? Didn't it remind you of this decade of Weber State football? That game last night reminded me of Weber State football. Incredible defense. That's one thing people don't realize about Jay Hill. Led the country in special teams every single year. Every year. Rashid Jaheed to the house. I mean, punt returns, kicker. They had one last night. The onside kick. Remember all those fake punts? They were outstanding, beyond outstanding in special teams. By the way, speaking of the great special teams, the guy who ran 4 back in 1 year. Yeah, in 1 year. Really 5 almost called back. Abraham Williams is a New Mexico Lobo. And so, incredible what Jay Hill has been able to do at BYU. I mean, and give credit to Colorado for hiring Dion Sanders. What Dion Sanders has done to Deion Sanders is transforming all of football. The Heisman Trophy player played the entire game. His son, you're talking 2 first-rounders. They just sit out. He's like, oh, no, they're playing. You know, so you got to give it to Neon. I always love Neon Dion. I mean, what an athlete, what a player. He's transformed. As he used to say all the time, because he coached at this level. The NFL colludes against this level. And I can prove that. We have 5, well, I always say 6, but we have 5 players off the same team in the NFL here. None of them were drafted. Well, I take it back. TJ for the Bills, he's so outstanding, it's unbelievable. He was drafted. Rashid Jaheed, undrafted. Now remember, TJ was a 0 recruit. Every guy that's in the NFL off this team, the same team, Jay Hill team, 5 of them, nobody wanted. They got 1 scholarship. Rashid Shaheed's undrafted. Oh, Pettis, freaking undrafted. 1 scholarship. He's from here. Jonah Williams, undrafted. Winston Reed, local Utah, undrafted. I mean, it's incredible. It's an absolutely incredible story. By the way, the best DB I ever saw play here was Maxwell Anderson, and I cannot believe he's not in the NFL. I really don't. I see Heckard, who left here, went to BYU, is signed in the Canadian football. He's outstanding. Mark Collins had a really big time play, one of their best DBs here at DBU. Jalen Rock's left, our best player here. Well, he's hit the transfer portal, which I don't know, they're fleeing out of here like refugees from Chernobyl. I mean, it's unbelievable. So congratulations to Jay. I don't think Jay Hill's getting his credit. You know, he makes plenty of money, but I don't think people realize what was the change at BYU. How good, how outstanding were they last night? How good is this team? This has been an incredible, just like he did it here. I mean, wow, people ask me all the time, you think Jay Hill, you think he'll stay at BYU? I honestly believe Jay Hill will end up being a coach in the NFL. I call him the modern day Tom Landry. He had a combine here. Think about the players he found. Rashid Shaheed, one scholarship ever in the country. TJ, Taron Johnson, 0 star recruit. What? My God. Jonah Williams. Opeta. Oh, by the way, I was at Pro Day when Opeta, they do the 225 bar. I think he broke the all-time record by 6, 7, 8 reps. He's torn up this year. So is Rashid. I don't think Rashid was that bad, but come on, he's still playing on the practice squad. He's got a couple $100 million at stake. Well, I remember Dion, his press conference when he played. You gonna play baseball? You gonna play football? What you gonna do? And he says, "Who do you want to draft you?" "Don't care as long as my contract rhymes with my name." And he says, "What do you mean?" Dion, Million, what a player. What a DB. So, but did BYU hand it to him, or did they? BYU was so dominant in that game, and BYU's offense is not that good. That quarterback is not that good. He's really not. Their running game's pretty good, but their defense is unbelievable. Their special teams is unbelievable, and returning. Just like they did here. Jay Hill didn't have marquee quarterbacks here. I love Cantwell, but you have the big arm, whatever. Constantine was solid, but, of course, they had some heartbreaking losses here, but Baron Bronson, I wish he would have never left here. Richie's left. Jalen Rock's left. Braden Wilson's left. I see even Bryant got another year. I'm like, oh, nice. The MVP here this year, and nobody in the Big Sky, nobody gave him the credit. I did. You think? Do you think the Oklahoma Cowboys saw that? Oh, they saw it. Lavaca, outstanding. Him and Vi got hurt early in the season, so he missed so much. But they've all left. They're used to be kicking down the doors to get in here and want to play for Jay Hill. Now they're freaking fleeing like refugees out of Gaza. Very sad. Where do we go from here? Why would they do such a thing? He changes this culture. Duff's gone. He's up at Idaho State. This thing is coming apart. By the way, Weber State basketball plays up Oregon, number 9, today at 2, 3 o'clock. Let's hope they can, make a good showing. They got a bunch of good athletes on that team, and we're all geeked up about Dylan Jones, but he don't get a play. He played 15 minutes last night. He played the most. I saw he didn't take many shots, whatever. So I think they're trying to blend a role into him, but I get it with that. Okay, how good is that OKC team? Don't fix what ain't broken. They've lost 5 games all season. So is Cleveland Cavaliers and Donovan Mitchell. Don't feed the line. Wow. Isn't that the same amount that the Jazz have won? Didn't they trade him? Pitiful. Degenerate Weber State. Why would you rip this apart what Jay Hill did? What Jay Hill did was legend here. I think it's one of the great, maybe the greatest sports turnaround in history. You think about it. 5 guys. I always count 6. I always count Adam Rodriguez. He's just, how good. Him and George and Jonah Williams on that. Oh, God. That teams, when the defense was on the field here, teams will go backwards. I used to like the best offense at Weber State for those years was the Weber State defense. And, of course, special teams was outstanding, unbelievable. But, I got cancer. I got leukemia in 2011, given 2 months to live. And I was out of here, born and raised here. And I stayed and did my part. I helped out the radio station so much. I did so much here, because I was stuck here. I'm connected to that hospital literally at the hip to this day. When our surgery twice, pacemaker. But I really think watching the Jay Hill turnaround, being connected with these athletes, want to really help me survive. It did so much for me. It gave me some passion, and to watch this historic turn gave me hope because what they did to the School of Business, we were the number 1 school of business in the country when I was the guy there, and they ripped it to shreds. Now they're in investigation for selling state secrets to the FBI. And they're deadline. What they did just, it really hurt me emotionally. It just tore my heart out, really. And to watch, and what the football team was so corrupt when Jay Hill took over one of the worst programs in the, it was horrid. It was absolutely horrid. It's horrid again now. And it's not about players. It's a culture. What they did at the school really hurt me, and really depressed me. And to watch what Jay was able to do gave me a lot of hope. Really a lot of hope that no changes are permanent. But right back. So congratulations to BYU. That was I think it's the biggest win. By the way, I was at the Holiday Bowl. The greatest comeback ever. And I know Jim McMahon. I did when I was young really well. And whoa, no, that was some football teams. The great Lavelle Edwards. I mean, talk about the coaching tree, right? Everybody talks about Walsh, but it's really Lavelle Edwards. Could be the greatest coach in football history. I think he is. Look at his coach. I mean, he had 8 head coaches out of his coaching tree at the exact same time. I mean, the who's who, but, really, congratulations to BYU, Jay Hill, and those players. What passion. He did what he did here. He's got these guys wanting to win, playing passionately, playing together, the love of the game. That's been torn away here. Basketball, football, that's the problem here. Sad. It's really sad, but so congratulations to the incredible Jay Hill and his players. Pretty amazing. Well, it's really fucking amazing. I call it a snowball's chance in Hill, and why do I call it that? Because I worked for Dr. Hanley, #1 school business in the country, and interviewed right over there. He tried to, it was just bleeding money like it is now. It's losing money. It was corrupt. Sports Illustrated did a piece. And come in here and they asked Bruce Hanley, who was the dean at the #1 school of finance in the country. I worked for him. Bleeding money. And he was an All-American football player. Donated his brain, by the way, to things. What's the chances of turning this corrupt, money-bleeding freaking football program around at Weber State to Sports Illustrated? Standing right there. I was standing next to him. A snowball's chance in hell. So I used to call it a snowball's chance in Hill, but they're bleeding money again now. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I never seen anything come apart at warp speed like this. Never. Remember, they were ranked 7th in the country going into the season last year. They won 1 home game. Jack Kelly was here. Mark Collins was here. And so Jay took them with, but we had plenty of great players. Remember, Winston Reed was on that team. So was Jack Kelly. So was Mark Collins. So was Braden Wilson. I mean, what players? By the way, Bankston's bolted. He hasn't signed with anybody yet. I haven't seen. Very sad. Very sad. But congratulations to the great Jay Hill. What changed that BYU program? Because they weren't very good. I mean, Sadaki was on the hot seat. What changed it? Jay Hill changed it. Think about what he was able to do with players. He amazes me. He really does. So, congratulations. Stay tuned.